Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're having an amazing week. Wednesday, hump day. We're in the middle, but it's also the end of the month. So we know tomorrow is Christmas season is in full swing. I don't know about you, but November, I'd say November, mid-November is when it starts for us. So here in Canada, we don't have to interrupt it with Thanksgiving. So we kind of go full swing right when we get into November. I am going to take some time this afternoon and share a presentation that we've done for many, many years. And I do have to apologize because I had hoped to have this slide deck updated for you. This is quite an older slide deck of mine. And I did not have time, just lots of issues with health that we were dealing with over the last week and a half. So it will be what it is. But future presentations, we will have these slides updated for you. So this is going to be very in-depth on the information on the slides. Feel free to take notes. That's the joy of having the recording. You'll be able to go back and look at it. But all of this information and more is also in my guidebook that if you stick around at the end, you'll be able to get a little special offer for that one as well. So we're going to keep this really basic because I know lots of you that come on these presentations are no stranger to essential oils. And, we don't want to go over things that we all know, but that's not always the case. I know that we sometimes have newbies on and, mamas who are just learning and healthcare professionals who are just, dipping their toes into this and figuring out what they can safely recommend or have some more extra information so that when they are presented with these questions, they can give accurate answers, which is very, very important. So when we are talking about anything to do with healthcare in pregnancy, there is a heightened need for accuracy, for safety. And unfortunately, when it comes to things like over-the-counter meds or natural options as well, herbals, things like that, we end up feeling a little bit restricted or a lot restricted because almost everything says if pregnant or breastfeeding, consult your physician. And unfortunately, our physicians are not trained in this. So it's kind of a toss back and forth between, well, I'm not sure if I can use it. They don't know if I can use it. What do I use? At the base of all of this is understanding what these oils are. And we're dealing specific with oils. I'm not going to get into herbals and supplements today. That's another conversation that we can have. But specifically with oils, you have to know the difference. And that's why we're going to talk about this. So what is an essential oil is really important to understand. It is a volatile aromatic compound. It's found in the stems, the roots, the seeds, the flowers, the bark. Sometimes it's a resin from a tree. And it's actually the plant's own defense mechanism against disease, illness, protection, invaders, whatever that might be. It's how the plant is innately able to protect its existence. So it is either steam distilled or cold pressed. Those are the two must-have methods for extracting it properly. They are small enough on a molecular size that they can pass through the walls of a cell in your body. So these have cellular impact on your body, which, having said that, makes it extra important that we understand how to use them and that they are safe to use. So this is where this all comes into play. Not all essential oils are safe to use, especially in pregnancy, especially with our babies and our kids. So we're not talking about oils that you spray down your house with necessarily, or your yummy smelly things that you buy at a candle shop or a health food store, even Walmart. Please pay attention to this, because I cannot safely give you information on pregnancy if you are going to ignore this fact. This is really important. The problem is there is no governing agency anywhere in the world at this point that says we will look at these essential oils and tell you they're safe. Now, here's an interesting little tidbit that we can add into this now, because updated information. The FDA in the US has now approved one of our essential oils, one of doTERRA's essential oils, lavender. And it's the first of many to come, but they have actually approved it as a pharmaceutical. So in the past, they would never touch this. They would not look at it as, hey, we're going to say yes or no on this. They would basically pass it as, is it a food grade option or not? Could we say it's ingestible or not? That's all that it would be looked at as. Now it's being looked at for its actual medicinal purposes. And this is huge because no one else has had this. No one else has had this approval. No one else has had it put through this type of testing consistently enough that it's approved. So that's a whole, again, whole the story, but just a little piece to keep in mind. We're going to continue with this testing. We're continue to see more of our oils being acknowledged as incredibly safe and pure. Because they're not governed, because they're not monitored, it's up to the company itself to put the money and the research into it. Not many companies, if any, are going to spend millions of dollars to verify their oils to be safe, pure, unadulterated, no contaminants. And for the most part, they're being bought through middlemen, they're being bought through buyers. And there is no on the ground connection to where these oils are coming from or understanding of how they were grown, how they were distilled, how they were transported and processed. There's all these other people involved in it, the steps along the way. And whether they test at the end or not doesn't confirm anything else in the process. So it's very important to understand this. Most essential oils on the market have synthetic fillers in them, especially the ones you're buying off the shelf. That's just a fact. They are often unsafe and toxic. They are hormone and endocrine disruptors in humans. And we obviously don't want that happening in pregnancy. This is just a given. We don't want to be messing with hormones or the endocrine system during pregnancy. So the solution to this is that I personally chose to work with doTERRA for these reasons alone. It wasn't based on my results. It wasn't based on, our miracle stories that I experienced. It wasn't even based on those things because those could have been individual to me. It was 100% based on what they do to prove and guarantee that I, as a doula, as a childbirth educator, as an essential oil expert, I can safely recommend these and I can give direction with these safely. So the reason I chose to work with them is they work directly with the farmers. They are on the ground, setting them up, helping them understand and understanding their processing from historic levels, really, how this has been done over the years, over the centuries, how to improve their lives, the farmers' lives, and the sourcing process. They test for quality during and after. So it's multiple levels of testing, not just end result testing, because there is an importance to that. They also are tested by a third party, and that then ensures accountability and purity throughout the process. And I can tell you with 100% knowledge and confidence, having been through this with doTERRA for many years, if it doesn't meet their standards, it doesn't get used. They will not use it. They will take the loss and they will continue on and redo it. So that speaks volumes to me as to the integrity and their commitment to purity. So again, I'm not going to take a lot of time on this, but this is why I'm teaching you doTERRA oils and not generalized information. If you look up generalized information, you will find very little when it comes to pregnancy because in generalized terms, adulterated oils or oils with synthetics in them will not be safe to use during pregnancy. The reason I'm confident in these is because they've been proven to not be adulterated, to not have synthetics. And over and over and over again, they're proven pure. So their labeling is very clear. They use the Latin genus of species of plant. They explain how to use it. That is all really important. The co-impact sourcing that we talked about, the certified pure tested grade in Canada, therapeutic grade in the US, and they are safe and effective and the high consistent quality that we have to have that to know that they're safe. All right, let's move into the good stuff. So moving into the first trimester, I can speak a lot on this because I've been in the first trimester 7 times. So I have 3 beautiful babies. We're not babies anymore, but have had 7 pregnancies, and all of them have made it almost to the end of the first trimester. So I feel like an expert on first trimester symptoms because I go through them many times. It's important that you understand if you have been using oils, you don't necessarily have to suddenly stop. If you have experience with them, if you understand them, what you're going to do is listen to your body like we always teach. And you may need to back things up a little bit, mainly because our sense of smell gets heightened, our aversions come out to smells and to taste, and we are just more sensitive in general. Our skin is more sensitive, our scents are more sensitive. So you may need to back it up a little bit, use less, use them on a more diluted basis, more in a diffuser or in a roller. Those are just things to pay attention to. It's important that you're diluting properly as well. So I usually say about 5 drops of coconut oil, or 3 to 5 drops of coconut oil if you're using liquid coconut oil, to 1 drop of essential oil. But you can go much higher than that. You can go a tablespoon of coconut oil to 1 drop of essential oil. You work out what is best for your body and how you feel comfortable using it. The only oil, and I get asked this all the time, the only oil that we say just avoid it, there's no reason not to, is clary sage. And again, it's not that putting clary sage, if you were using it and found out you were pregnant and you've done something terrible. No, it's right here. I use Clary Calm actually through my pregnancies. I use it over my thyroid, and I have no problem using that blend. It does have a bit of clary sage in it. But Claricom is simply one of those avoidance ones because it's a better safe than sorry situation. It's best used in labor, when labor has already begun, to help coordinate contractions. So we just don't want to use anything that could stimulate contractions, but it would take a lot of misuse for it to do any harm. And again, because these are pure, because these are safe and tested, I have a little, concern. If someone was using clary sage and didn't realize it or didn't know, don't panic. You're just not going to use it. You're going to wait until labor is in progress. Now let's talk about things like normal pregnancy symptoms, morning sickness, which is completely mistermed, right? It's all day, all night for some people. For me, it's a 24/7 nausea. It could be vomiting. It could be, we're not talking about extreme. We're not talking about, where you're needing medication for that. We're talking regular symptoms right now, regular, the effects of those shifting hormones. Peppermint is your best friend. Peppermint beadlets are fantastic. Half a drop of oil in a bead that you can just suck on or swallow, burst it in your mouth. You can pop it in your mouth and actually breathe in and out into your hands so that you get the olfactory effect. Peppermint oil is a gift. If you combine that with something like wild orange or grapefruit, that has a very powerful cell effect and calming effect on nausea. It's also great, again, for that limbic seed in the brain and those olfactory senses. So that's a good combination to work with. All of these actually can be combined as well, just for inhaling, diffusing, putting into a roller. That geranium is fantastic as well when we're talking about breast tenderness. So a little bit of geranium and lavender are fantastic to put into carrier oil and massage around the breast tissue, avoiding the nipple area, obviously. But it's a simple way. And if you do any lymphatic massage, following those, strokes with these oils are really nice as well. Lavender, again, to help you sleep. Can you use things like the Serenity soft gels? Yes, you can. They're absolutely, we'll talk a little bit about a few supplements as we go along the way, but Serenity soft gels are safe to use to help you get some deeper sleep. Serenity, a combination, that Serenity blend is fantastic. The Peace blend is lovely. Ylang ylang for emotional balancing. Ylang ylang and geranium are hormone friends, right? So it helps those fluctuations. It can help balance some of that out. And again, it can be as simple as just smelling it. If the smell does not work for you, then rolling it on pulse points or over the thyroid is a really great spot to do that. Motivate. Let's just give a little shout out to Motivate. Is such a nice blend to have on hand. And I keep the roller bottle in my purse because when your energy is low, you've got a lot of tiredness during the first trimester. Again, as those hormones shift and your blood is pumping more, if you feel like you're running a marathon every day, Motivate really does help with some of that brain fog and a little bit of that tiredness. So that's a good one to keep on hand as well. All right, this is just more in depth. Like I said, I'm not going to spend too much time on the details. This is all in the guidebook that you'll have access to, but we just covered some of that. Ginger, we have our ginger lozenges. They're fantastic as well, and our breathe lozenges. Don't forget about some of those great little add-ons that we have beyond the oils for sucking on when you're feeling nauseous, or if you just need a little pick you up. Those two, especially those I don't, for lack of a better word, candies, but they're lovely. They're natural. They're a great one to use. They are really helpful as well for things like that. Digest Zengest, depending where you live, on your belly button is a nice option too. Again, you can just inhale it or put a drop on your tongue. Those are all easy ways to use to calm things like nausea. We talked about breast tenderness, so same idea. Let's get into the second trimester. So first trimester, you get to the end of that and you feel like you're ready to go, right? So when we head into the second trimester, a lot of those, hopefully, early trimester symptoms start to ease. You start to have a little more energy. Your hormones start to level out as the placenta takes over the production of all of that, and your body kind of gets into a rhythm. So I always loved the second trimester with my pregnancies. It was the time I had the most energy. I felt the healthiest. You start to feel baby move and all the good stuff that comes along with it, right? Now, not everybody experiences that. I understand. Some people have very difficult pregnancies, and that's unfortunate. But when we're talking again about natural, normal kind of standards with our pregnancies, things like, again, peppermint to help you support with digestion. Now, we do have a new blend in here that is brilliant. I think I have it over here. Hold on, let me grab it. Our new, not that one, our new Meta Power, right? So that was to replace our Slim and Sassy oil. These are just they're stuck, the soft gel version of that, but there's also the beadlets. So the Meta Power beadlets, I'm going to give them a little shout out here, are amazing for dealing with pregnancy heartburn. Again, you're going to watch your foods, pay attention to what triggers those episodes. Eat smaller meals often. Don't eat after 7 p.m. kind of thing. Avoid things like chocolate and coffee and things that are going to trigger that, especially in the evenings. So it's nice to know you have some options though, and the new Meta Power blend is phenomenal for that. But peppermint, wild orange combined, peppermint and grapefruit combined are also a really good quick fix if that's what you have on hand. Again, geranium, lavender, and ylang ylang in your bath, if you like to take baths, with some Epsom salts. 1 drop of each is heavenly when you're in your second trimester. It just helps calm hormones. You feel lovely. It's like I call it the bath of a queen because you just feel very loved on. Your skin feels loved on, your belly will feel loved on, and your hormones, of course, will appreciate it. And then we move into things like frankincense. If we add a bit of frankincense and geranium to our belly oil, we've got a fun one coming up soon. We've got a new addition to the Oil Babies lineup, but we do have a belly oil coming soon with some of these beautiful oils in it, skin loving, nourishing oils. So you can watch for that. But frankincense is a great one to add in there as well. Serenity, and again, for sleeping, and then Digest-Zen or any of those wonderful digestive oils that we have, like fennel, our peppermints, things like that, really great. Cardamom is another good one. Those are all really great ones to have on hand because you can mix them as you prefer then. If you don't really want the blend, some people don't like the fennel taste in Zengest, so you can always change that up and make your own options. All right, we're going to skip through that because we just talked about all that. So let's get to the third trimester. Now, this is usually when you're heading into the home stretch, right? And most mamas are feeling, most of the time I hear, they're feeling they're ready to be done. I can honestly say I was never ready to be, to be done. I loved being pregnant. So forgive me if that was not your experience. I know it's not always fun to hear that someone loved being pregnant when maybe you didn't. But we can make it a little better. We can work with it if it is being a trial for you or if it is doing well, right? Regardless of how this goes. There are some third trimester things we can look at. Things like edema, some natural swelling that happens in the ankles and feet, sometimes the hands, making sure we're doing a good, hydration with maybe the MetaPower collagen is fantastic. That's a really good new addition to the lineup as well. Doing that on a daily basis, absolutely not only safe during pregnancy, but brilliant for this. And then cypress is a really good oil to have on hand for massage. So you can do a little bit of cypress, lavender, peppermint, blend those together. Frankincense is fantastic. And then massaging that around the feet and ankles in a heart happy direction, right? In the circulation direction. Those are really good things to have on hand. and then a drop or two of lemon in your water throughout the day, or it shows some sassy on here still, but we'd be doing the MetaPower option in your water once or twice a day. Can also help balance blood sugars a little bit, if that's something that you're dealing with by the third trimester. But it also will help with that, just again, flushing through your filtering organs in a safe and gentle way. And then we're, looking at some of the normal things again, just Zengest so that your things are moving properly through your bowels and your intestines. But something like lifelong vitality and Terrazyme would be really important through that stage too. And our peppermint soft gels are fantastic to help things move along so that you're not dealing with hemorrhoids, or bloating or things like that. So good to keep in mind. All right. Last little area we're going to talk about. I'm not going to go into postpartum, delivery and labor and all of that. That's a separate presentation. But there are a few things you can do ahead of time. And I do have some videos of this. If you happen to go on our TikTok channel, our Oil Babies TikTok has videos and the recipes. And you'll also find it in our book as well. But doing some peri pads or postpartum pad prep is a really good idea. So you can do perineal massage. This is talking about perineal massage at the end of pregnancy, and you want to save this right until the end. It really doesn't need to be done long before that. It can get more uncomfortable and bothersome than anything. So you want to do this more towards the end, when you're approaching your estimated date, obviously. But that perineal area is that tissue between the back and the front, right? The anus and the vaginal opening. That's that little piece of tissue in there that we want to stretch. Everybody wants it to stretch. We want it to stretch effectively. It doesn't always. Sometimes there's tearing, and that's a natural process. The body will heal a little better with that, as opposed to being cut. But whatever works, whatever the situation is, you can help it along a little bit. So 1 to 2 drops of geranium mixed with 1 to 2 tablespoons of jojoba oil or coconut oil is actually really great for perineal massage. Your partner can help you with this. You want to make it fun, but it's just a great option, and it's not necessarily a comfortable massage. It's a stretching massage, so it's firm. It's with a bit of pressure, a bit of pull, a little bit of stretch. But those oils do help with that. Helichrysum is another one that you're going to want to have on hand, and I didn't add it into this, but I do always recommend a drop of helichrysum with the geranium, because it's fantastic just for that tissue, cell tissue, and everything going into that area, to help it with the healing afterwards, but also in the process of delivery. You want to have that on hand too. Those are good oils to have for labor. I don't think we go too much further than that. Okay, so quick look at beyond the oils. We definitely can continue on with the lifelong vitality. You will want to add in a proper folic acid, preferably a methylated version. And then you would only do that for the first trimester. After that, then you can stop that and continue on just with your LLV. It has everything you need. You do not necessarily need to switch to a prenatal unless you've been instructed to do so. Terrazyme is a must. All of our pregnant moms that we work with, I absolutely recommend Terrazyme because of those amazing digestive enzymes pick up the slack that your digestive system is going to go very low on. Just with hormones and the relaxing of your digestive system, it gets sluggish. And then with the pressure of baby as they grow. So Terrazyme is a must, and you're actually going to take more than what it says on the bottle. You probably would want to do about 3 to 4 capsules with each meal, and I like to do them right before the meal or immediately after the meal or during. So focus it around your meals. And then PB Assist is our phenomenal probiotic. Again, just keep that bacteria, the good bacteria, where it's supposed to be in your gut, because that will really benefit you. It does not benefit baby's gut per se, because it stays in the gut. But in birth, it is very important that your body has the right, gut flora, support for you to then support with breast milk and whatever afterwards. So keep that in mind. And PB Assist is best taken 2 capsules at bedtime on an empty stomach. So if you have trouble doing that, try it first thing in the morning on an empty stomach before you add food or coffee or anything else into there. All right, we're going to stop there because the rest of it goes into all of our baby information. So that's the end of that part of it. Sorry, give me 1 second. There we go. So we'll go back here. Any questions, you are more than welcome to pop them into the comments or respond back to our email with your follow up and your recording. I am happy to answer any questions you have, but please take advantage of our offer. We are offering you a free copy of my guidebook, which I usually have sitting right here. Oh, here it is. It must have fallen off my desk. So we have a copy of our little, sorry, it's a very simple little guidebook, but it covers all of this, plus all my recipes are in here. And we do have an updated version coming very soon digitally. So I'm excited about that. But this is a great little guidebook to have on hand or to, maybe give to your local midwives or a doula or, gift it to someone or a mama who's expecting with a couple of these oils that might support her. This makes a great gift. So they are available on our website to purchase, but I am giving them to you for free for registering for the webinar. So I hope that's helpful to everybody. Thank you for being on. Have an amazing rest of your week. And if you aren't already on our newsletter list, we promise we don't bug you with newsletters. It's only once a week, and it always has important information, teaching, specials, things like that. So if you haven't hopped into our newsletter sign up, please do that. Go to www.oilbabies.com. And if you just pause there for a minute, a pop-up will come up. And you'll also get 10% off anything in our store. There's lots of goodies in there for birthing babies and mamas and oil lovers as well. So it's not just for babies. We've got lots of goodies in there that you might want to take a look at, especially with Christmas coming up. And you can then, when you take advantage of the 10% off, you will then be added to our email list. And that's how you'll stay on top of our webinar series. There is a lot of good stuff coming up in the new year. I'm very excited about. We've been working really hard behind the scenes. And you'll hear a bit more in the webinars coming up and any of my events that I have coming up. You'll have some tidbits dropped and some hints dropped as we go along the way, but a lot of this information is being gathered, collected, and put into one place for you all to access. And we have a summit coming up, a couple of them actually, and a couple of online summits coming up, and an in-person event coming up. So stay tuned because I'm thrilled for what our next quarter has in the new year and heading into the spring. So join me for that. Make sure you're following along, and I appreciate your support so much in just staying in tune with the stuff that I teach and following along on social media. So thank you for that, and have an amazing and blessed week, everybody.